citizen review advisory subcommittee. And how can you do this? One of the ways, and the simplest way, is to work with the commissioners. They represent the 12 different districts. And I ask, even though the districts outside of that district won't receive the monies, why can't the rest of the community participate in the decision-making process when they're doing it? There's two ways that you could put this together. Go through the Council of Commissioners, and each of you take 2 commissioners, I didn't count right, and hold a meeting in their district, and those people that showed up, select one person from that to participate on the common citizen group. The other possibility would be to have the commissioners themselves appoint someone to your technical and or the common citizen. I gave you a list of websites there of alliances, community alliances, task force. I also gave you a website where this is actually in the Butte Silver Bowl Planning Department as a procedure to make the first priority in the Greeley area to initiate and enable neighborhood task force and or alliances. And you could assist this process without having to spend a dime. You could convey the message to the people that you want them to participate. No, you don't have to give them the authority. You have to keep the authority and make the final decisions. But at least it's not an after the fact, after the decision is made, public hearing. You're brought in, you've asked the public to bring in these multitude of ideas. You've let the public give you a suggested priority list, and then based on that, you put it through your legal process.
Madam Chair, one question in that regard, just to clarify, and maybe Pat can answer for me, but it was my understanding that the way that this council is set up, just like the NRD council, what we call the big council, is that basically we hear ideas and act as a filter and make a recommendation. We don't really have the authority. We can only make a recommendation, and then the governor has the authority. Is that right? Is that our legal outreach?
That's correct. The trustee set up the structure for the Butte Area 1 settlement, and the structure is you guys right here, and that's the avenue the trustee selected, and we're bound by that structure.
And that's not an argument to what was just discussed.
Sure.
It's just to clarify that everyone knows that we don't have the checkbook. We just make, so that everyone in the public knows. Yeah, we do.
Yes, one other point that I'd like to make is that we really are the Citizens Council. We're not a technical council. We were chosen by the governor and by our chief executive as private citizens that were willing to come forward and make these decisions. And so we really are that Citizens Council. And that's why we're going out for this public scoping, is to open up to the other citizens in town that may have some other ideas and listen to what their ideas are also. Yes.
I would suggest, and I think I said this the last time as well, this is, as far as my observation goes, an unprecedented level of public participation, participatory democracy. I've never seen it work this way. And I feel like we're a conduit, and we are that common people's group, and we are seeking those ideas. We've been doing it for 2.5 years, so I definitely don't feel like it's some sort of insular group of experts that are making decisions, announcing decisions, and then rolling forward. As we are we've experienced that for 30 years. At the same time, I appreciate your urging us to plug into networks that already exist and try to get every word of the idea that we can, so we take that seriously.
I will point out, at least EPA for 18 months before the ROD, we had 45 people from the public meet for the first 6 months, once a month, and then for the next year, twice a month, and giving us their thoughts on involvement, community involvement for the record of decision for priority soils. So we had extensive public comment and went out, and 45 people from the public were involved in it. I just point that out, that we had very significant public involvement from the public. And yet we get called on every day that we didn't have public involvement because
I didn't say the.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying it's hard, because you realize that too, people don't realize what's going on. So I think that the
I studied
meetings that
exactly
you're,
what was going on for a decade, and so I do know, what was going on, but I
oh
didn't.
good, I'm
know
glad
that
you
we-
did. But
Okay,
the two
let's-
meetings are good.
Okay, let's go on to, if we, any other additions to the agenda? Okay, let's go ahead on to the next bullet and talk about, public outreach, that our avenues that we'll take to, publicize these meetings and get the word out
Any means necessary.
by any means necessary. That sounds good.
Can I make one more comment?
Sure.
Do you feel that you can approach any of us with whatever comments that you might have? Like, once we get a list of projects, do you feel there's an openness for your opinion on? Do you feel that, or?
That's not the point, okay? Yes, I feel that you, as he said, are that level of citizens selected by the administration, selected by the governor. You are not that common citizen that has been selected by the common citizen. And at the CTEA meeting, the other comment was that you were asking, how can we get our message to the public? I'm asking for your assistance in developing a Greater Butte Silver Bowl Alliance, Commissioner District by Commissioner District. We do it by Commissioner District because it's actually the commissioner that is responsible to see that the government functions in his district. I'm not criticizing anything that you're doing. I'm just asking for your assistance to develop an overall community, Greater Butte Silver Bowl Community Neighborhood Alliance, that then can appoint task force or pull together task force to work with government to accomplish some of the things that you're talking about. I'm not criticizing.
No, I
I'm
was
just
saying you
asking
were.
for additional
But this
help.
board was set up to
Sure.
perform a certain function. and
I
it was
know,
set up
outside
as-
the scope, Ed said, yes, I've heard that one before.
Go ahead.
One thing is I wish you would have brought this forward before we finished the document and sent it out for public review. Because it's something that probably could have been incorporated in, but I would just make the comment, this technical review committee that you mentioned here kind of fits with what John was saying. And conceptually, I'm not sure we shouldn't kind of grab onto this a little bit to see if we can work this into something.
It's not a bad idea, in my opinion. And so it may be as simple as at the public meetings asking for volunteers for a technical evaluation of the project. Because to Mr. Vanderop's point, it just involves the public more in what the net result is. And And I don't know if we have to do an addendum to our plan, or if we could just out and out do it. We may consider it.
I guess my only hesitancy is that if we do wanna finish this by the end of the year, that's, it becomes difficult.
Well, maybe we wait to see what kind of list of projects we have and
Yeah.
how big of a task it is, and then we,
Yeah,
then
go
we
from
can.
there.
we go
Adapt
out-
if you need to.
Right. And how much technical advice we need.
I take Larry's advice regarding this seriously as well in your council about, there was a time, there was a window where we thought the best thing that we could do, and maybe the only path to take, was to get this in front of Schweitzer before the next election. But things have become